Hello, everybody, and welcome to Entrepreneurs International Network. My name is Iman Agai, the founder of Entrepreneurs International Network, and your host for today. And I am super excited about having an amazing guest speaker with us today, who is someone that I refer to her as my secret weapon, Dannella Burnett. And so, Dannella, I'm very excited to have you here. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic and excited to be here with you and your community as well.
Awesome. Great to have you. Well, for many of you who are here and those of you who are watching the recording of today, you know that one of the greatest ways of growing and expanding a business and getting visible in the world is through the world of public speaking and also not doing public speaking as like a stage public speaker, but also being on podcasts, being on summits, being on shows, being on interviews, being on radio, being on TV, and all of those type of things. So there are lots of things that are involved to get visible, and every single one of them require speaking skills in a way. So Daniela is actually one of the greatest people in the world who has the authority to talk about different things. Just as a kind of example of what she deals with is like in the next 9 days, she's dealing with about four upcoming events that she's supporting these event organizers to organize their events. Many of these events have many speakers who are presenting on their stage. So she knows the world of event organizers, she knows the world of public speakers, she knows the world of visibility really well. And so I'm very excited for having her with us. Daniela, before we get started talking about public speaking in 2025 and all of those things, tell us a little bit about yourself and the story of what gets you excited about this whole world and why you do what you do.
Well, I did not start out to do this like many folks who are here. And, I was definitely part of the 72% of the population that public speaking, like, no, thank you. The joke is I'd rather be in the casket than delivering the eulogy. Like, had no desire to be front and center. I didn't do theater in high school. Like, there was no like calling to the stage for me. But I did hear from and responded to Julia Child when I was 9 years old. And I found her on TV, and it literally changed my life. Like, listening to Julia Child and getting caught up in the show and the food and the passion and the lilt in her voice and her passion for food and changing the way the American housewife, who many were starting to work outside the home, looked at food and how they fed their families, led me on a path of culinary arts and event production and event management, from personal events to corporate events to nonprofit events to events with municipalities. I've done events from 25 people to 250,000 people. And we then started working with a lot of speakers and coaches, mainly on the logistical side in these kind of events that you do. And if you're here in Amon's world, I'm sure you've attended JVX or Collaborate or his AI marketing event. Like, I'm sure you've attended one of his events, either virtually or in person. And we started doing more and more of those kind of events. And for me, it just kind of brought everything together. And I was seeing my clients take the stage and seeing them make an impact. And I was still growing my business through networking and referrals. And I realized if I wanted to do what many of my clients were doing, I was going to have to take the stage myself. And of course, once I did that, and I've been speaking since about 2017 regularly. I spoke a little bit before that, like at networking events where you'd have like a minute to 4 minutes. And I couldn't speak more than about 4 minutes because I'd start turning blue. I didn't know how to breathe and speak at the same time. But really everything changed in my business. And now what I love is I speak, I host events myself. I help my clients speak and host events themselves. And it's just a beautiful synergy. And, I love this world. I love the impact that we get to make. I love the income that, like, let's be frank. I don't really know of anything else that's legal, moral, ethical, and fun where you get to make the kind of money that we get to make in this industry. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty exciting. So there's the kind of medium length story that not too heavily, not too long, not too short, that catches you guys up and really just shares why I love what we do here.
Absolutely. And, as you talked about generating income before we go any further, um, I know a lot of people think about public speaking only as like a one thing that like get paid to speak. And if you don't know how to get paid to speak, then you shouldn't speak on stages. And of course, for those of us who do this, we know that there are lots of different ways to monetize the stage. And I really think every single business owner should learn about monetizing the stage. Like every single business, it doesn't matter if you're a realtor, if you're a mortgage broker, if you are a financial advisor, if you're an educator, you're a coach, you're a personal trainer. No matter what you do, you really need to learn about the world of public speaking and how to monetize it, because
Yeah.
there are very different ways, and also it's something that makes you visible, puts you in front of a really good potential group of clients, and you can expand. So let's talk about that first as a bridge to talk about
Yeah.
like what are the different ways that people can monetize their knowledge and message and their expertise by using public speaking. So not everybody think we're talking about keynote speaking here.
Yeah. So there's four ways that you're going to make money from the stage: before, during, after, and more. And let me break it down just a little bit. What Iman was just referring to, that getting paid for being a keynote, that paid speaker, where you're really getting paid for your time on the stage, for your knowledge that you bring to the stage. You're providing a workshop, a training, a keynote, and you're getting paid by an entity for the value you bring their audience. So your client is actually the association, the organization, the university, or the corporation that is seeking to educate their members, their clients, their employees, their students. And so they're willing to pay people to come in and bring knowledge. So you can get paid for your knowledge. And that's a great way to make money. There's some things that that pathway doesn't allow for. Frequently, that pathway doesn't allow you to promote your business. Like, the transaction is you're getting paid before. And I call that also bird in hand money. You're going to take the stage, you're going to perform, you're going to provide value. It's a transaction, you're going to get paid. Maybe you can sell some books, but you're not really there to promote or grow your business. You're providing a service. Great way to make money. And the best way to do that is to get really clear in the value that you offer those kind of entities that are paying for speakers, knowing that you're bringing value to the audience as a secondary value. Two, getting paid during. Now, this is the most lucrative, like in the cost per hour. If you get good at getting paid while you're still on the stage, where you have an aligned audience in front of you, and you know what problem they have, and you have a solution for them, and you can say, here's my solution. Meet me in the back of the room. Here's my QR code. Here's my URL. Take out your credit card and let's move forward right now. Like, that concentrated sales opportunity can be some of the most lucrative hours in your business. Super exciting. Like, that's a rush too. Like, when you can see people move and go to the back of the room and take action, and you can generate hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in an hour. Game changer for your business. And that might be on someone else's stage, that might be on your own stage, but you're getting paid in the moment for making an offer and people responding to it and saying yes. Benefits, and then there's some challenges. Some of the challenges, you probably, if it's on someone else's stage, you're going to have to pay for that opportunity. You're paying them to put an audience in front of you. And you might do that as a sponsorship. You might do that as a revenue share where you're splitting some of the proceeds of what was generated then. Or it might be some other kind of partnership, maybe a trade or something like that. So you're probably going to have to pay for that opportunity, or you're creating your own event and you're paying for that foundation. Other challenges, you got to get good at selling and be okay standing on the stage and saying, here's my offer, take out your credit card. So normally takes a little bit of practice and some mindset to get to that point. And I always recommend that people have sold that offer individually, because the same conversations and the same objections that might come up individually in a conversation are going through everybody's mind when you make that offer. If I were making an offer right now, Benjamin might be thinking, interesting. Can I afford that? Is it worth it? And maybe his conversation goes right to money. Mary's listening to me and she might be like, do I have time for this? Is this the right time for me? Can I put this into practice quickly enough? So she may have some conversations about time going on. Michael might be thinking about, who is this woman, Dannella? Like, I just met her and she wants a credit card. Like, is she right? Am I right? And it might be about value or worthiness. Like, the same objections that come up in an individual conversation, your audience is having. So you need to make sure as part of your talk, you're also answering the unasked questions. And that sometimes just takes some practice and getting good at that, and knowing your offer and your audience really well. But that's getting paid during. Then there's getting paid after. And this is probably the most common type of speaking opportunity that's going to be available to you and quite lucrative. Whether you're a 4-figure business owner, it's a great place to start, or you're more advanced business, this is a great way to grow your list, grow your network, is making a complimentary and compelling free offer from the stage where people are going to provide you their contact information, and then you're going to nurture them. You're going to carry on the conversation. You're going to get them to your calendar. You're going to get them to your group. You're going to get them to your event. You're going to get them to that next stage in the conversation. And the sale is going to take place sometime after the initial stage. So being clear with where you want to take your audience, when you get their information, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to kind of leave them dying on the side of the road? Or do you have emails and nurture and automation and reach outs? And are you nurturing them after they share their information? And like selling from the stage, do you have that compelling free offer where you're exchanging some value, some gift, some resource for their contact information? You also want to get really good at this if you're growing your business, because growing your list gives you that opportunity to have perhaps even multiple sales conversations in the future. And then the last one is more. And I always like to point this out, because the before, during, and after makes sense. And you should get good at all of them. Know what kind of opportunities each is and what types of speaking is more likely to result in those ways of monetizing. Is it a podcast? Is it a summit? Is it at a small, intimate networking event like this? Like, what's the outcome? What's allowed during that opportunity? But then there's also more, which is taking a stage where you're getting more authority, where it's not necessarily about the dollar, but it is about raising your status, raising your elevation. If you get the opportunity to speak at an event that's big in your industry or alongside other speakers, like speaking alongside Iman, a guy. I mean, we're talking about Iman. Like, my authority is instantly elevated because I'm on the stage with him. If I had a graphic about today and I post that graphic on social media next to celebrities or next to others who are respected in the industry, that's why those speaker graphics are so important, because it builds social proof. And when you can borrow from the authority of others, you can elevate yourself. So I call that more. So knowing those four pathways of getting paid by putting them into your business, by maximizing them before you take the stage, maximizing them while you're on the stage or after the stage, will help you grow your business, not only in impact and influence, but in income.
Absolutely. Awesome. 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 Thank you very much for uh, sharing that. By the way, if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to put it in the chat box. And of course, I'll ask Dannella also any question that you may have. If we have a extra time at the end, we can also do it in a way that you can raise your hand and we can ask the question directly yourself. Now, Dannella, right now, I mean, we talk about public speaking, of course, right? And we talk about like, hey, you gotta find the stage, you gotta go to this event, you gotta go to that event. But one of the challenges that people always have is finding these opportunities. And where can people find these opportunities all in one place, or what are the ways to be able to find quality opportunities?
So there's a couple of different ways, and this is certainly not the only ways that you're going to find speaking opportunities, but here's a couple of things that you can do yourself to find speaking opportunities. One is really know who's in your network, and here's an exercise that I like to give speakers or those who want to get on more stages. List everyone that you're connected to or every community you're connected to. And when I say everyone, I really mean everyone. I mean, this could be your kids PTA, this could be your homeowners association, your local chamber of commerce, the Facebook groups you're in, the other coaching communities you might be in, communities you've paid to be a part of, events you've attended, um, and you're still connected in different groups, groups you follow. I mean, list them all. And if you're of a certain age and you've been in business for a minute, that might be a pretty big list. It might feel a little, a little exhaustive. But if you'll divide that list by 12, pick a day of the month, and once a month, just go through that list. And what you're looking to find out is, do you take outside speakers or do you have speaking opportunities? And sometimes because you already have a connection, they're going to tell you about speaking opportunities within that community. Or they may even create opportunities because there's already a connection. And in your research, you're going to find out that some are not a fit for you, and so you can cross them off. Don't have to call them back next year. But the first year, I recommend that you don't pre-select, like literally reach out, because maybe your kid's PTA has an entrepreneurial networking. Maybe there's other parents who are entrepreneurs and you can connect and network. Depending on who your audience is, maybe your audience is women over 50 and you're a health and wellness expert. Well, speaking to your kid's PTO could be a huge benefit to putting you in front of new people. So don't ignore things that don't seem like a speaking opportunity, and connect with your network and really work your way through there. And that's just one recommendation I have for network. Two is your past calendar to fill your future calendar. Events you've attended before, events you've spoken at before. If you've ever kind of looked around at an audience and said, these are my people, like I'd love to share my business, my passion, my knowledge, my value with this audience. Well, if they did one good event with your audience in front of them before, they'll probably do it again. So reach out, find out when that next event is. And I will tell you this, event hosts love to hear that you participated at their event, that you were an attendee, that you were a speaker or sponsor before and you want to come back. Like we love to hear people who've supported the event in the past want to come back to it. So use your past calendar to fill your future calendar. 3, social media. Now, there's lots of groups. There's some Facebook groups. There's a few LinkedIn groups. There's 2 parts to this. One, don't forget to tell social media that you're a speaker. Every once in a while, post something. I'm looking to speak in front of, left-handed millennial golfers. Whoever your audience is, like, let the world know through social media that you want to speak and who you want to speak in front of. And it's amazing. Sometimes right there in the chat, somebody will say, hey, I've got an opportunity for you. Come speak at this summit. Come speak to my group. So let the world know through social media on occasion that you're looking for speaking opportunities. And then also look for speaking opportunities on social media. Look for events. Find out about speaking opportunities. But I will say this, when you see the very, very vague and generic, what could you speak on for 20 minutes without any prompting? Or we're looking for speakers and nothing else. Sometimes you want to avoid those really vague posts because they're not really promoting an actual speaking opportunity. They're really just fishing to see who's looking to grow their business, who's looking to market, and you might get a whole bunch of requests for VAs and marketing agencies and who knows what else in your DM. So be mindful that you're putting yourself out there for actual speaking opportunities, and you'll find them on social media. And then the 4th one that I want to share today is collaborations. When you're in a community, when you do get the opportunity to network, listen for those who speak to your audience. If you speak to the same audience but have different topics, it's a great opportunity to collaborate and share audiences and do Facebook live swaps or do a workshop together or promote each other. Lots of opportunities can open up if you serve the same audience but in different ways. The second is listen out for those who do exactly what you do. Some of my best referrals partners are somebody who does something very similar to me. Believe it or not, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I know you find that hard to believe, but my prices might be different than somebody who's similar, or my availability might be different, or maybe I serve women and there's somebody else who serves a different community. Like somebody who does something very similar to you can be a great referral source. And if you can't take care of someone, giving them over to someone you know and trust that can serve them is the best way to get that person to come back to you and maintain a relationship. It's a great way to just, the world has a tendency, I think, to take care of those who take care of others. It all comes back around. So those are some things that you can do yourself to find speaking opportunities. And then, of course, because you're here in this community, you know that Iman and Next Gen provides you speaking opportunities. And then we kind of take that a step further. We take speaking opportunities and we match our speakers to speaking opportunities and do all the applications and do some of the services. So you can do all this yourself, and there's some great things that you can outsource and focus more on what you're going to say on the stage and what comes after, and get some support for getting on more stages.
Absolutely. And, one of the greatest ways of getting on the stages for us is always collaboration, and attending events and getting to know people. One of the things that I always tell people, Dannella, is when you go to an event, always get yourself a VIP ticket. Don't just normally go to an event. Like go to the event, get a VIP ticket, because always with the VIP ticket, you get VIP networking sessions. And that's where you really people who care about their business hang out, especially if the VIP tickets are the cheaper type of VIP tickets. So for example, like there are events that the VIP ticket is like $3,000, right? And you look at it and you're like, I don't want to spend $3,000. That's a different story, right? But when you're attending a virtual event and a regular ticket is 197 and a VIP ticket is 297, that extra $100 is not just $100. That extra $100 is a door to separate yourself in a room of people who value their business that extra $100. So we always look at it as a qualification matter more than just like an income generator for the organizer. Or many events have like a free regular ticket and a $97 VIP ticket. I
Right.
always tell people just get that VIP ticket because they're putting it there as a pre-qualifying process for people, especially if there is a network VIP only networking session or access to the directory. So do that. The other thing is always show up on camera because when you show up on camera, you always come as one of the first people. And I actually showcase this to people during our events where you know that we do about 300 events a year in different parts of my company. And like I literally show up on a call and I know, for example, like this person is their first event with us. Now imagine like we're doing 300 events. Each of these have like average of 100 attendees. And still I know like who are the people that's their first time. This is your second time here. You have been with us for 4 years, right? And I always tell them the only reason that I know that is because you're on camera, so you come as one of the first 50 people on my screen. The screen shows 49 people. So when
Right.
you show up early and you're on camera, you're one of the first like 5, 6, 7, 8, or the first screen of my computer. And I'm seeing you for 3 days or 2 days in a row. And then when I see an application from that person who wants to speak at our events, especially if during the event they raise their hand, they ask the question, it was a smart question, they participated in the chat box, they were very positive people. It just makes you more interested to have that person. You're like, oh yeah, I totally remember that person. They ask very smart questions, a really great point of view, and now they're applying to speak. I would love to explore more, and they just stand out. So that's actually really great ways of attending events and being in front of organizers and getting to
Yeah.
know them, all of those things. So
Well, I often say to people when you go, in an in-person room, like
yeah,
you wouldn't go to and sit in the audience and like turn your back to the speaker.
right.
Like when you show up here in Zoom, like the more you pay attention, the more you engage, be the kind of audience you'd like to have in front of you. I
Yeah,
will tell you, it is a lot more fun speaking to a Zoom full of faces that are actually like engaging and shaking their head, and that what you're sharing with them is landing, than a whole bunch of blank screens. Like that's not a whole lot of fun. I know that
yeah,
my level of engagement as a speaker is elevated when I can connect with people and just makes speaking easier. So, be the kind of audience you'd like to have in front of you, and it benefits you as well, as Anamad just said.
yeah. One of the things that I recently have become more adamant in telling people about is that you need to know every organizer that is organizing a seminar or conference in your city that's related to your work, right? And that's something that many people just ignore. Like every single day in every city, like especially large cities, Orlando, Tampa, Vancouver, Vegas, like all of these cities that are not smaller cities, right? There are always seminars and conferences and meetings that are happening that are related to our work.
Yeah.
And we need to know the organizers of every single one of those events, and we need to reach out to them. We're like, hey, I saw that you're organizing this event. And this is a part that, well, I know many organizers of events in Vancouver, right? And one of the biggest things that I know about them is I asked them, I was like, hey, like I saw that you're organizing an event. I'm wondering, like, if you're having any outside speakers, like, how are you marketing the event? Do you need any support? Do you need any help? Do you need any connections? And because I know other organizers, I can also introduce them to other organizers. So I highly
Yeah.
recommend that if you see somebody is organizing an event, just plan getting on a 20-minute call or 30-minute call with them to understand and learn more about the event. The least you can do is you can help organizers to connect with one another. And now that makes you a very influential person because now you are helping influential people to connect with each other, which we call the center of influence. And bam, suddenly you are the center of influence by connecting the organizers with each other. But now you know about all of these events that are coming up. And anyways, and you can participate in co-hosting those events, which gives you some very major constant stages.
Yeah.
Sure. So anyways, those are great ways. Awesome. So Dannella, mm, let's talk about what what makes a person stand out from the crowd to become the obvious choice for the event organizers. Based on what we talked about, right? Like if we want to say two things, three things, do these things to stand out, right? What are those few things that gets people to stand out to be chosen as a speaker?
Awesome. Well, it's a little bit easier if we start with what not to do. Don't be that speaker. And what I mean by that speaker is the one that's hard to work with, that doesn't provide the event host with what they need, and they don't really follow the rules. Now, on one hand, sometimes we want to break the rules because we do want to be seen. We want to stand out. We want to stand apart. But what you don't want to do is create more work for the event host. When they provide you a speaking application, fill out the application. Like they're doing that because they're trying to consolidate and be able to make some choices. But like if they've provided you with an application, don't send them off an email throwing up on them of everything that you think they need to know. Like actually give them what they're asking for, which is not the email of your, I graduated first in my kindergarten class story up through now, but like give them what they need. So pay attention to what they're asking for. First emails should be short and sweet. Do you take outside speakers? Are you the person that I would speak to? Those, you want to get yeses to those questions before you share everything about yourself. Again, use applications if they've given you one. Um, Find a follow up a little bit and give them information. But we literally had somebody fill out an application the other day to be on a summit that one of our clients is hosting. And we're gathering up all the speakers, and we have to create speaker graphics, and we're looking to create, affiliate links and everything. Person fills out the summit application, and every single item was, "We'll provide later. We'll provide the link later. We'll provide the gift later. I'll provide the new headshot later. I can't give you my headshot because I'm getting new pictures in 3 days." Like, just created so much extra work for my team, for the host. Like, so don't be that speaker. Like, be somebody who's easy to work with. And then when you get the gigs, be somebody who's easy to work with. Be on time, be there present, be there early, be on Zoom. Don't wait until 2 minutes before your speaking time to email the host who's currently on stage looking for you, asking them what the link is for you to get on the stage. Like, be a problem solver, not a problem
Oh,
maker. So how do you not get on stages is become the problem maker. Become somebody easy to work with, and that reputation will precede you. Be really clear on what value you bring to the stage and what value you're going to bring to the event host. Sometimes sharing that, maybe if they didn't even ask for you to share about the event, you could say, you know, is there a way that I could share about your event? No, some speaking opportunities are going to require that you do, like a summit is going to require that you share that. But let a podcast host know that you have an audience that would love to know more about his podcast and know about some of the other episodes, not just yours. Be a little bit knowledgeable. I had somebody apply not that long ago to come and speak at my 3-day event, which is all about visibility and getting gigs and hosting events. And she wanted to get on stage because she said, well, I help others get on stages. Do you know what I do? Like, I'm selling my high ticket offer. Interesting that you would want to speak on this stage and come speak about exactly what I do. I've also had people want to get on my stage that are like, well, I teach about paid offers. I think selling from the stage is just evil. Know your host. Do a little bit of research. I know Iman's had people as well that, it's just not a fit. Know where you're applying. So those are a couple of tips on what to do and what not to do. Be a good person and be a grown up.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Awesome. Dannella, I know that you have a great gift for everybody on the call. And do you want to talk about that right now?
Yeah, so I thought it would be a lot of fun. There's just a few of you here live on the call. Let me just, do you guys want to speak? If I gifted you a speaking opportunity, would that be of interest to you?
If yes, then go to the chat box and say yes. I know you
Yeah, let me
can't
see a yes
unmute,
in the
but
chat.
just like put one or yes or Y in the chat box, right? That's awesome.
Well,
The answer to
I
that
have an
should always be
opportunity.
a yes. Yeah.
Coming up next week, we do an event called Speakapalooza. Now, the nice thing is this is a short speaking opportunity, just 3 minutes. But 3 minutes is a lot of time to be able to share who you are, who you serve, how you serve them, why you serve them, and what's the next step that you want the audience to take. And we do it in a really fun way. We're actually having a speaker success session later today, and we'll be sending the recording out to anyone who can't join us for that. Just giving some tips on how to be successful on our stage. But I thought that would be fun to share with everyone here. So I'm going to put that in the chat. We normally sell this speaking opportunity for $297 because you do get to provide a resource, a way of collecting leads. And the last time we did Speakapalooza about 6 months ago, we had one of our clients who shared her free resource, ended up booking 7 calendar calls from that resource and in the follow-up, and booked 2 $10,000 clients. So if you think 3 minutes can't turn into something, it most certainly can. You can be compelling, you can tell a story, you can let the audience know that they should raise their hand and continue the conversation with you, share their valuable contact information. You share your resource or your calendar, some complimentary call to action, and you can turn that into business.
Oh, amazing. Amazing,
Ben looks
amazing.
like you might have a question about that. Let's get you unmuted again.
Yeah, letting him to unmute.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. One is as far as the, let me see. Do you like what we're talking about today? Can you give this to people who are attending right now just to go through it themselves and make sure they have everything, number one. Number two, do you have a summary of what we just talked about, right? That's really number one. Number two is what you're saying about making money before, during, after, and more. Do you have like an outline of what to do for each part of a trying to promote for a speaking opportunity, or just you speaking at a specific event?
So I heard about 4 questions in there.
Yeah, yeah. Should I just do one question at a time and then you could?
Yeah, let's do one at a time because I want to
Okay,
make sure I'm actually
okay,
answering
okay,
like the actual question, not what I think it is. Go ahead,
okay,
Ben.
okay, okay. Okay, so first of all, do you have, this is two of the same question. One, do you have a summary of what we're talking about right now?
Yes, and we also have a 3-day event coming up next month where I'll be going in a little bit deeper. Like what I'm talking about with Amon, like literally, this is just what I live and I breathe all the time. Like I don't have everything that I said here typed up anywhere. This is just conversation with me and Amon and what I teach day in and day out to my clients.
Okay.
And I've tried to make it fairly simple that you're going to get paid one of 4 ways:
Mm-hmm.
before, during, after, or more.
Mm-hmm.
And a few tips on how you can find speaking opportunities. Um, I will be going through some of this in a little more detail throughout the Speakapalooza event. So if you'd
Mm-hmm.
like to attend the event and not be a speaker, you can go to the same link and then you can join us for the 2 days. If you are going to be a speaker, you'll also be sent a form where you can choose morning or afternoon on the 9th or the 10th. And so
Okay.
you'll know at least which quadrant of the event you'll be speaking in so that you can plan accordingly. And, ladies like to have their makeup done or look the part. But yeah, I mean, Aman and I are just kind of riffing today, so
Okay.
I certainly have some resources, but not this in particular, like typed
Okay.
up.
Do you have a
But
copy
I
of
do
this?
know that Aman's going to make this recording available.
Okay. Okay. And then, okay, and the last question is kind of like you've kind of answered it already, where the do you have any like outlines for what you should do to make money, if you're doing before, during, after, or even more, or how to even do all of them at one time?
Well, at some point, you will want to get good at all of them. And it really depends on where you're at in your business.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that you probably want to get good at is making a complimentary offer and
Mm-hmm.
collecting leads. That's the easiest kind of speaking opportunity to get and the easiest ask. I'm gifting you something and you're going to give me your contact information. Much easier ask than, hey, let's pull out the credit card. And it can be difficult to get paid to speak if you don't have some experience to put on that resume or that speaker one sheet. So you can get them in order depending on the kind of business that you have. And then eventually you're going to want to be able to say yes to all of those kind of opportunities.
Not sure if there's any other questions aside from that. Those are the two, I think, yeah, those are the two biggest things that,
Okay, great.
and then, as far as three, and then you went out really quickly on, like, if it was going to speak at Speakapalooza, right? Of like who you are, what you do, and there's like three other things that you're saying. What is it like if we're going to speak for 3 minutes? What should we actually include to to trigger or to get the audience interested?
So the 5 things that I always want to make sure I fit into a talk, whether it's 2 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of that talk, I want the audience to have a sense of who I am, who I serve, how I serve them, why I serve them, and what I want them to do next. Now, I'm not going to come right out and like I'm answering questions, I'm going to answer that in
Mhm.
a story. I'm going to answer that by giving some examples, by providing some value. So I'll give you a quick example. If I look up at the time right now, I'm going to just kind of riff and give you an example of what I would do in my own 3-minute talk.
Okay.
So, how many of you have heard that talk is cheap? Well, you know what? I agree. Talk is cheap, but speaking is the way to make impact and make income. I know that my business changed after years of running a business through networking and referrals and never knowing where my next client was going to come from. By relying on other people to think about me, to refer me, I started speaking and I started controlling my cash flow from my calendar. If I needed new clients, I booked a gig. If I needed more cash in the bank, I booked a gig or I started hosting events. My name is Dannella Burnett. I own Encore Elite Events and Speakers Need to Speak, and we help speakers get on more stages and host profitable events. And this is exactly what I've done in my own business to grow from 6 figures to 7 figures and stay there, because speaking at events are the most profitable and impactful ways that you can make a difference. Now, didn't always start off this way. And like many of you, I was a little bit nervous about speaking. But once I got over that nervousness, because I knew it was more important, the value that I brought the audience, I got over my fear and I started speaking more frequently. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of tips today on how you can get on stages. You can get on stages by looking at your network and connecting to others, finding out where there are speaking opportunities that you're already connected to. Use social media to find speaking opportunities and to tell the world that you're looking for opportunities. And you can use the past calendar to fill your future calendar. If you've ever attended a great event, you know you'd be great on that stage, reach out to that event host and see what that opportunity is like. So there's 3 free ways for you to find speaking opportunities. And I'm going to put a link in the chat because we have 2 more ways that you can get on speaking stages to grow your business, grow your influence, and grow your impact. And for the first 7 of you that get my download, I'm going to give you my calendar link to have an exclusive speakers crush it from the stage assessment call with me. So here's my link in the chat for the first 7 people. I can't wait to have that conversation because speakers need to speak.
And I mean, those 5 things that you just mentioned, I'm like, I try to copy down. Can you just text that there, in the chat?
Sure.
Yeah, appreciate that. Mm.
And you just bundle those answers in some story or in some value, in some tips. Could be what to do, what not to do, and then what you want them to do next.
Mhm. Perfect. Sounds good. I'll copy and paste that. Oh, I appreciate that. And it seems like I'm the only person on the call. It's I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, I said, but yeah, we are getting the recording. We're gonna send the recording to everyone.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I have one public speaking event already that was like, let me think. I have 2 actually. One as a for real estate office, and the second one is for an HOA. So far, I've gotten 2, but I'm
Great.
looking to get a lot more because of the fact that basically, it's more of, I think, an after type of situation for me, because the thing is that I'm not I'm definitely not getting paid to speak, and I'm not really asking people to buy anything. So it's more of offering service after, like checking out their air conditioning unit all the way up to, possibly even buying a new unit with those people. And there are a lot of things in between, like preventive maintenance and um and let's see, preventive maintenance, like lets your air conditioner last longer, and even just to check out your AC to the way it actually is performing right now, which is very important. Even even right now and always, because especially when you talk about people who are older, the biggest pollution that people actually experience is more in their own house than anywhere else.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
And that actually, by the way, for that particular thing, you might be able to find a lot of other places, especially health related, or where they're dealing with matters with the elderly. You
of
can
course.
do a lot of talks in those areas talking about that. That's like, hey, is your air conditioning polluting your air, or like,
Or is anything else in your house polluting your air and your air conditioners carrying it throughout the whole entire house?
yeah, exactly right. So there are lots of great ways, and of course, that will relate to your business and translate into income. Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome,
perfect.
perfect, great.
I think that's everything. Thank you so much for your help. And then where would I see a copy of this where would I see a copy of this recording?
Yeah, it's gonna come to your email tomorrow or the next day. So you're gonna
Okay.
receive an email. You're gonna receive an
Okay.
email with it.
All
Okay.
right. Fair
Awesome.
enough. All right, sounds great. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you,
Great. Thank
Benjamin.
All
you.
right. Thank you. Have a
Awesome.
great day. Thank you.
And with that, for everybody else who is watching the recording, thank you very much for joining us. Dannella, thank you very much for such a great interview. Really appreciate you. And yeah, look forward to seeing you at another event, seminar, conference, or seminar. Awesome. Thanks. Take care. And bye-bye.